If you want to make consistent sales of your online course or coaching program, you need to consistently take actions that allow you to do that. A lot of things that you need to do maybe don't come naturally or aren't that intuitive, and you can easily waste time doing the wrong things. But choose just a few of the right things and stick with them to watch your sales exponentially grow. Hi, I'm Nikki Trailer. I help coaches, course creators, and digital product owners make more money from their products and programs by selling more and retaining more customers. Stay tuned to discover the 5 essential habits for course creators to increase your sales, whether you live sell or have an evergreen funnel. The first thing you need to do consistently is to drive people to your email list. If you can grow your email list every week or even every day, you'll be setting yourself up for long-term success. The bigger the audience, the more sales you're likely to make. But that doesn't have to be as difficult or time-consuming as it might sound. I like to encourage people to use leveraged actions to grow their email list so you can get as many subscribers as possible from every single action. You can grow your list organically or use paid advertising, but there are so many ways to do this, depending on your budget and how much time you have. But either way, it's going to take some time or it's going to take some money. You have to decide which resource is most important to you. Using paid traffic will get you in front of a wider audience with very little effort. If you're smart about it, you can grow your list using paid traffic and recoup all of that money within the first month by selling offers on the back end. Start with as little as $50 a month and you'll see consistent list growth, but it might just be a bit smaller than you're hoping. Just monitor your cost per lead so you know how much you need to make on the back end to recoup those costs and become in profit. If you have ad budget, you could also consider using this instead to sponsor an email list of someone with a larger audience than you, or sponsoring an event or paying for ad space on places like YouTube or Google and not just focusing on Meta. If you aren't ready to dabble with paid traffic just yet, you can use organic methods, but it doesn't have to take forever. It's a good habit to get into to talk about your email list at least once a week if you use social media, but what if you don't? Well, I recommend building relationships and collaborating with people who have an audience of your ideal clients as a way to grow your list in a much faster way. That could look like email list swaps, running live trainings for that audience, doing cross promotions, or speaking on their podcast or YouTube channel, or more. In every one of these scenarios, drive people to your email list with a short, memorable link so that it grows fast when new people discover you. To make this a leveraged action, choose people with the largest possible audience. As long as they're aligned and you're providing a compelling reason for them to sign up to your list, this should be relatively easy. The easier you make it for them to sign up for your email list by providing links, freebies, anything to bribe them or convince them that your list is the place that they want to be, it's going to make this a lot easier for you in the long run to get more numbers in each go and each bit of effort that you try. The next thing you need to do consistently is to have conversations with your audience about what they want and need. Now, this can be automated, but if you want to consistently make sales from your scalable offers, you need to be on the pulse of what your customers want and need by having regular conversations with them and regularly asking them for feedback. A big part of that is understanding why the people who bought from you bought and why the people who didn't buy didn't buy. But you also need to understand the gaps between where they are now and their deepest desires, so you can provide the solution that helps them to bridge that gap, and know that all of your marketing is centered around those topics. Once you understand those 3 things clearly, you can refine your offer and messaging to match what your audience wants and needs without relying on guesswork. And the great thing is you can automate a lot of this process by using surveys instead of having one-on-one conversations, so you always gain new insights without wasting a ton of time. Getting audience feedback at scale is a smart thing to build into your processes and your funnels. Every time you run a promotion or when people go through your evergreen funnel, use surveys at strategic points to get those insights. So how do you do that? Well, at the end of every live promotion or launch, I send out a survey to people who didn't buy so I can understand why they didn't purchase. So many people skip this step because they think it's always down to time or money, which can be true in 90% of the cases, but if you don't ask, you'll never know, and you'll be surprised at what responses come up. The key to getting people to answer the survey is keeping it short and sweet, or providing some kind of gift or compensation for people providing you with that feedback. On my surveys, I only ask 2 questions and I generally keep it anonymous just to ensure people give me as many insights as possible. The more barriers you can remove to getting those insights, the better. The first question that I ask is, why did you decide not to join this offer this time around? And the second question is, what would make it a hell yes to join us next time? Those 2 questions should be free response instead of adding multiple choice options, so you're not putting ideas into their heads. A lot of people won't answer and a lot of people will just put time or money, but it only takes 30 seconds to set this up, and for the responses you do get that go a little bit deeper, it can be invaluable. If you want to, you can also request their name and email address so you can ask follow-up questions. If you're going to do that, I always recommend asking for permission first. Sometimes I've had responses come back saying they weren't looking for whatever I was selling at the time, to which I've then responded, well, what were you looking for? Which has led to a sales conversation. So you never know what opportunities you're missing out on to start that conversation with your ideal clients. The people who are responding might just be looking for something slightly different or a more tailored solution. The other thing you should consider is surveying the people who did buy from you. This is most effective when you ask at what us in marketing call the most seducible moment. This is when they're excited and open to hearing from you, so typically at the point when they've just purchased from you. The easiest way to get insights on why someone bought is to embed a one-question survey on your thank you page or confirmation page that shows up just the moment someone buys. I've tested so many versions of this question, and the one that always gets the best responses is as follows. What was going on in your life that led you to sign up to X? Again, leave it as a free response and you'll be surprised at the kinds of responses that come back. With that, you can look for repeated insights that can help you both market your product better and even make it even better. If something comes up time and time again, consider using it as an angle for one of your sales emails or feature it more prominently on your sales page. And finally, if you want to understand your audience best, you can send random surveys to your list every quarter or poll people periodically on your social media channels. I like to ask them just 2 questions that paint a picture of what they want and where they're at currently. So this would vary depending on your industry, but for me as a launch copywriter and strategist, I would ask something like, how much money do you want your next launch to generate? And how much money did your last launch generate? Those 2 simple questions give me everything I need to know about their goals and how I can potentially support them. If you want more tips for increasing your sales online, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. The next thing that you need to do to create more consistent sales of your course is build a marketing system that both sells and nurtures. Planning is the key word when it comes to your marketing. If you don't currently plan your marketing and you just wake up, find inspiration and post, this is for you. Building the habit of planning your marketing can actually make your life so much easier. And yes, it might be hard to build that habit because trust me, I am not a planner. But when it comes to inspiration and effectiveness, it's a real game changer and it makes your life so much easier. It also means that if you plan ahead and make it a non-negotiable part of your schedule, it'll always get done. You'll have a system that you can maintain when you get busy, when sales start rolling in and you have to spend time delivering. And it will also help you to know what to say and when in relation to your promotion schedule to maximize your sales. But I realize you're probably wondering, how the heck do I start? Well, as someone who doesn't naturally find thinking of years as a whole very effective, I find that starting with every quarter is the most effective way for me. As I start to think about a whole year, I know for sure I'm going to change my mind. The first thing I do is map out what offers I want to promote and when, based on the money I want to make, the timeline, and the offers I want to sell, or any holidays. Then when I have my promotions in the calendar, I know that the 2 to 3 weeks before that promotion, all of my marketing will be focused around the topic of the thing that I'm selling, building awareness and helping to shift the beliefs of my audience so they're ready to buy. The rest of the time, I leave it a little loose, but I may focus on more personal stuff, other offers I'm not specifically promoting but want to raise awareness of, or resharing some of my most popular content and sharing client stories and wins as well. Once I have this mapped out, I like to make a weekly plan of how many times I want to post and on which platforms, which emails or posts I plan to sell in versus just share value and nurture, or when I plan to invite people onto my email list so that continues to grow. I also map out activities like pitching to be a guest on podcasts or inviting people to collaborate. If you're thinking, I'll just wait until I have a bigger audience before I start planning my content, then it'll either take you much longer to grow or you won't have a system in place to maintain it when you get busy. And I know for sure that is going to be the first thing that drops off your to-do list. You also might miss out on sales that could have happened from your small audience because you weren't being strategic about your customer journey and what you were selling when. Build that muscle and trust me, it will serve you in the long run. The next thing you need to do to start building more consistent sales is to start building your selling habit. Making sales a priority every day or week so you get comfortable selling and see the benefits is one of the most important things you can do for your business success. The more you sell, the more money you'll make. It's as simple as that. Now, I know for so many, the idea of selling every day feels really uncomfortable, but without money, you don't have a business. And if you've done a good job of understanding what your audience want and need, you can relax knowing you're simply serving them up a big slice of what they want. What you're selling has the power to help them. And I want you to remember that every time you have to show up to actively sell. And the great thing is, building this habit early is the fastest and easiest way out of the feast and famine cycle. So when I say sell every day, what do I mean? Well, this is entirely up to you and how you like to sell or market your business, but it could look like sending DMs to warm leads, sending an email, starting new conversations with people in your audience, getting on sales calls, or posting on social media and anything in between. One thing is for sure, if you actively sell, you'll make more sales than if you don't. The most successful businesses don't just wait for people to come to them, they go out and actively seek them. If making more sales is your goal, you need to first define your sales process and get comfortable with it fast. And the next thing I want you to consider doing is talking about your offers and client wins at every opportunity. It's amazing how many people don't do this, but it also is so damn effective. Sharing stories about how your offers help people and client stories that demonstrate the success can be a great sales tool that don't require you to actively sell yourself. I think they're most effective if you insert them into stories about your business whenever you're sharing some wisdom like how-to content. If you use examples from client wins to demonstrate a point that you're trying to make or a teaching point, it's always going to be more memorable. You can also use examples for this when you speak on podcasts or when someone asks your advice. Remind them that you cover that exact topic inside whatever offer it is. So for example, I've been recently promoting a masterclass for coaches and course creators that gives them 5 steps to double their launch revenue without adding to their expenses. To promote that masterclass, I'm sharing stories of clients who've made the exact changes I've suggested and that I'm teaching in that masterclass and seen results. Those stories build trust, but also bring what you're teaching to life. Without examples, it can be so hard for someone to understand what you're saying or to picture the results of what's possible. Always be talking about the offer, the wins, and the outcomes people can expect from working with you, so it builds demand, hype, and excitement. If you're ready to put this into action, I recommend starting with my video, 10 ways to grow your email list without ads. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more launch strategies that you can apply in your business. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.